everyone. Welcome to From the South. My name is Belén de los Santos. I'm from the teleSUR studios in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news, and we begin with some breaking news information, and that is the latest statement from the far-right leader from Venezuela, María Corina Machado. Let's listen.
Estoy bien, estoy segura. Hoy es 9 de enero. Salimos de una concentración maravillosa.
I participated in the concentration that we carried out today. It was marvelous. My purse fell to the ground. Some of my belongings fell to the ground. But now I'm good and I'm safe. Venezuela will be free.
And we begin with information from Venezuela as the Venezuelan opposition sector failed in its attempt to express its support for Edmundo González Urrutia. Images show several streets and gathering points with very few people, which evidences the lack of a call for demonstrations. Demonstration took place in the midst of threats from the extremist leadership, which would seek to generate violent actions. However, the opposition rally crossed paths with the massive mobilization of Chavism, with no reported acts of confrontation, and was guarded by the security agencies that guarantee the peace in the country. And in the same context, we bring you now live images from the streets of Caracas at this moment, where the people of Venezuela are mobilizing this day in the great march called for peace and joy in support of the swearing in of President Nicolás Maduro, who was elected on July 28th. These images that we are seeing right now are live images from one of the massive demonstrations that is underway in Caracas. This includes several points and starts from the Great Wall of Petare through the Francisco de Miranda Avenue, the Francisco de Miranda Park, the Ministry of Housing and the Environment, the Delito Center, and José Martí Square. The Great Anti-Imperialist March, the Great Patriotic March Against Fascism and for Peace, and the Great Caravan of Motor Vehicles for Peace will also take place in several states of the country, such as Bolívar, Monagas, Sucre, and Zulia. The United Socialist Party of Venezuela has organized a series of activities and popular mobilizations to accompany the inauguration and strengthen support for President Nicolás Maduro. Let's recall that this is happening at one day before the presidential inauguration that will take place on Friday, January 10th. And this demonstration of support in the streets of Caracas is yet another demonstration of the peace and tranquility in the South American country. Now we continue in Venezuela as the great international anti-fascist festival for a new world order opened on Thursday in Venezuela with the participation of more than 2,000 national and international guests. More than 35 social and political movements from all over the world are meeting at the Carlota Convention Center in Caracas to discuss collective actions aimed at defeating the imposition of neoliberal policies that undermine the sovereignty of the peoples. The Vice President of the Republic, Delcy Rodriguez, attended the event and addressed the participants in the afternoon. The event, which will end on January 11th, will include various forums and activities promoting the ideology of an inclusive and anti-imperialist and non-discriminatory world. We continue in this context. We continue with the World Anti-Fascist Festival that is taking place. And our correspondent, Yunus Soner, provides us with more details. Hello, Yunus, we go to you.
Hello, good afternoon from the La Carlota Convention Center here in Caracas, where the Global World Festival of Anti-Fascist International has started.
We were listening to Yunus Soner, our special envoy in Caracas. We are having some technical difficulties, but we will surely come back to him. As we were saying, he is currently at the international anti-fascist congress that is going on right now in Caracas, Venezuela. Let's recall that delegations from several countries have begun to arrive in Venezuela to attend the swearing-in ceremony of President Nicolás Maduro Moros, to be held on Friday, January 10th. This is as also this international congress was underway. In this case, we're looking at images from the delegation of Algeria that has just arrived in the country to attend the swearing-in ceremony and to show its support to President Maduro. The arrival of the diplomatic delegation from the African nation shows once again the strong ties of friendship that connect the two nations. With this, Algeria corroborates its support to the Bolivarian government of Venezuela, and the delegation will be present at the swearing-in ceremony. And now, as we were saying, we go back to Yunus Soner, our special envoy in Caracas. He is currently at the Anti-Fascist International Festival going on. So we go to you, Yunus. How's everything over there?
Hello, good afternoon again from the Carlota Convention Center. As you mentioned, more than 2,000 delegates have arrived here to this festival, to this World Festival, which has started with Executive Vice President Delcy Rodriguez's speech in the afternoon. Now there are the working groups taking place on different matters: women, youth, students, native people, workers, social communication, as well as the parliamentarian groupings of the Anti-Fascist International are taking place. And here with me, I'm guessing that I have the guest, the participant, who traveled the longest time to attend this festival here. Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed Lutfi bin Mohammed Noor. Can you please explain me where have you come from and how long did it take you to arrive in Caracas?
Well, thank you first of all for inviting me. And I'm from Malaysia, so it's all over, it's in Asia. And in Malaysia, to here we have to take 3 transits. First of all is from Kuala Lumpur Airport to Abu Dhabi, and that took around 8 hours something. And then Abu Dhabi to Madrid, and then Madrid to Caracas. So overall, with the transiting hours and also at the flight hours, it was around 44 hours or 24 hours plus 20 hours.
44 hours of travel.
Yes.
Okay, so how is your impression of the event's first day? It will continue until the 11th, but what's your first impression here?
Yeah, my first impression is it's a very great and grand event because it actually unites a lot of delegates around the world. We have here, from what I observe, we have from Cameroon, we also have from other African regions and countries, also encompassing of Asia, and also there are certain from Europe. So I can say that it's almost the whole world here at this program today, and this is very extracurricular and very great because it's not easy to actually take in a lot of delegates. And when I first arrived, what I saw was that from one country there aren't necessarily 4, 3 or 2 or even 1 delegate. There must be at least more than 4 delegates. So it's an impressive event on how they can get all these people here in this event today.
I would like to talk with you about a certain issue of which I know that Malaysia rightly is very concerned about. Now, this Congress deals with fascism, it deals with neo-fascism, it deals with Zionism, but there is also the other issue in terms of thoughts, if you will, which is emerging, especially in the West, which is Islamophobia. What do you think about this, and should it be included into the agenda of this festival and its documents?
Surely Islamophobia is one of the issues that has been going around, not just within this generation of the 2000s generation, even it has been in World War II or even before. So I believe it's one of the ancient principles or ancient things that should have been propagated And this very much concerns with anti-fascists because Islam is a religion that is practiced by the second largest population in the whole world, and it should be accepted as a religion of peace because Islam itself means peace. And Islam itself propagates in our Quran for us to not wage war, for us to be kind to those who are in need, to give donations to the poor, to help those who are weak, and also to share wealth with those who are needed. So Islam, if it is understood in a very right and correct definition, Islamophobia shouldn't be at there. And also the conduct of the Muslim, from what I believe, if they are conducting the way that the Quran and Sunnah ask us to do, it would not complicate others, or it would not give a false misrepresentation of the true definition of Islam to non-Muslims particularly. And I believe that's for the first part. That is why Islamophobia has been created and formed. I believe this thing all correlates to understanding of people, because humans, if they don't understand certain things, they will assume and they will make certain conclusions. Whereas Islam, even if we see in the past, in the days of Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, when we liberated Palestine, and also in the days of Muhammad al-Fatih, when we liberated Constantinople, we did no bloodshed, we did no killing of bloodshed. What I mean was killing of old people or people who are in the Quran that we cannot actually kill. So that is what Islam actually truly means. I have a lot of friends actually. In Malaysia, we have three main races, which is Chinese, Indian, and we live harmoniously, especially with the most dominant race in Malaysia, which is Malaysia. And why can we live positively is because the values of Islam that we practice allows us to have that harmonious life. And that is evident in Malaysia, how we can pleasure 60 years, more than 60 years of independence as a majority Muslim people in the government, how we can lead, but also leading in the right way and without breaching any peace or harmony within the population of multiracial and multi-religious people.
I would like to ask you specifically about the context, the regions where Islamophobia is emerging, which is mostly the Western countries, European countries. What do you think is the danger lying underneath of it? Where can that lead to, as my final question? What do you think is the dangerous position there?
Sorry, if you mean...
What is the danger that Islamophobia presents to Western world specifically?
Islamophobia is mostly misinterpreted as a terrorist movement or too fanatic Muslims towards their religion, but this imposes fright and also fear in the Western community, especially in recent events that has been happening in Western or also in Palestine. But if we see the killings happening here today, most of it is currently happening in Syria and also in Palestine, which are Muslim countries who should be given the opportunity to actually be an equal state. As in Palestine right now, until today, a lot of countries do not recognize Palestine as a sovereign country, and they recognize Israel as a sovereign country. So this is a misinterpretation in which, from my personal view, the Western likes to label it as Islamophobic just to cover up or to blanket the atrocities and also the genocide that has been happening in Palestine and also in majority Muslim countries. So for me myself, I do not condone or I do not support any killings of any kind from any group or parties, but it is important for us to always uphold humanity, and this is the thing that should have been propagated in Western, which is the right of living, the principle of humanism, and not to blanket all this under one particular term called Islamophobic or anti-Semitic. We should move on to the principles of humanity, and that is the goal that all of us should see and should have the common ground on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
In that context, it is worth underlining that the Executive Vice President of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, mentioned exactly that in her speech, she stated that the mission of this Anti-Fascist International is to defend humanity against division, to defend humanity against hatred. And here, with the contribution of our guest from Malaysia, who flew, once again, 44 hours from Malaysia to Venezuela to attend this meeting, we see a connection between Zionism, between fascism, between Islamophobia as well, which are different shapes of divisive, hatred-causing ideologies. So these topics are being discussed and will be discussed in this World Festival of Anti-Fascist International that will last until January 11th. You have the word. Thank you.
Thank you, Yunus. It's so good to hear from you and all the information from the Anti-Fascist Festival underway in Caracas. And so important as an opportunity, as you were saying, to discuss all of these issues that are worldwide issues with such amount of guests, international guests that are here. And this international gathering is underway in Caracas, and that is also another important aspect of understanding what is happening in Venezuela at this moment. So I thank you and our guest as well, of course. And now we continue with other topics. We continue with the situation in the Middle East. The Israeli occupation forces have carried out 3 massacres in the Gaza Strip in the last 24 hours, killing at least 70 Palestinians. According to medical sources, these actions also left more than 100 wounded. Health officials warned that both figures could be higher, as many of the victims remain trapped under the rubble of the infrastructure that was hit by the bombings due to the Israeli obstruction of ambulances and civil defense teams. According to the latest health report, at least 46,006 Palestinians have been killed and 109,378 have been injured since October of 2023, when the Israeli war on the Gaza Strip began. We go now to Lebanon, as the Army Commander General Joseph Aoun was elected president of the country. According to the official sources, the head of the armed forces won the support of 99 deputies in the second round of the 13th parliamentary session. Joseph Aoun became the 4th commander to occupy the presidential chair in the Babda Lugo Palace after Emil Lahoud, Michel Suleiman and Michel Aoun. Aoun will lead the nation for the next 6 years and must swear an oath of allegiance to Lebanon and the constitution before the parliament.
My commitment is to exercise my role as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces and Chairman of the Supreme Defense Council, through which I will work to assert the state's right to monopolize the ownership of arms.
We now continue with other topics. In Chile, the Special Committee of Ministers ratified the rejection of the controversial Dominga mining project, which poses a serious threat to the environment. Scientists and environmental organizations claim that the Dominga mining project poses a serious threat to one of the most important marine ecosystems in the world. For her part, the Chilean Minister for the Environment, Maisa Rojas, welcomed the decision, pointing out that this is an area of the world importance with a high ecological value. It should be noted that the Chilean branch of the international environmental organization Greenpeace has published a video explaining why Dominga is a threat to the biodiversity of the flora and fauna of the central coast of Chile and the Pacific Ocean in general. And in China, more than 46,000 people were affected by a 6.8 magnitude earthquake in the Tibet region. More than 14,600 people, including firefighters, soldiers, police and rescue workers, have joined the rescue efforts following the deadly earthquake in the Chinese region. These operations have helped find 407 victims trapped under the rubble. The quake, which struck Tingri County in Shanghai Prefecture on Tuesday, killed 126 people and injured 188 others. And like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website. And also, we leave you with the winners of the reality show Factor M, winners of the song for the campaign of President Nicolás Maduro. Let's see.